The big news today is that Romney is resigning from the run or not going to run, which is a lie. The Bilderbergs met in Davos. The decision was made that Hillary will be the next president, and Romney was doing too well in the polls, so they threw him out to make certain that someone on the Republican side, such as yet another Bush, God forbid, or let's say an incompetent moron like Rubio, will be selected and chosen so that Hillary's president. That's my opinion, one man's opinion. Romney was forced out to enable Hillary to become the next president because there are no elections in America anymore. Oh, yes, there are elections. But the selection process determines the election, doesn't it? So I feel bad for Romney. As you know, he was a moderate, middle-of-the-road Republican. And they forced him out. It's that simple. Jeb was given the push. The money men said no to Romney. You're doing too well in the polls. And why do I say this? What, just to attract your attention? No. I use Aristotelian logic. Who do you think was leading in the polls on the Republican side? The ice cream man Rubio? No. The ice cream man not cometh, he goeth. Who was leading in the polls? Was it that sad sack Jeb Bush? Another Bush we need after a dynasty of 12 years of Bush, we need another 8? No. No, it's been determined that it's time for the American, whatever you want to call her. We don't have to categorize her as anything but what she is, which is an internationalist, a statist, a left-wing fanatic of the lowest order. I mean, what do you think she's going to do to this country? She'll be Obama, too, the second administration of Obama, which is the third administration of Jimmy Carter. So they pushed him out because he might have won. Now, I say it for a couple of reasons. One, because I think it's true. And two, because if I remember the debates, and I do remember them very clearly, certain things I remember very well. In fact, I remember everything very well. The important stuff I remember extremely well. There were 3 debates between Romney and Obama. Do you remember? He wiped the floor up with Obama. Obama looked like what he is, a stooge. He looked like the stooge he is, a teleprompter reader. Romney wiped the floor with him. Everyone cheered. They said Romney's going to be our next president. Well, they called Romney into the back room, and the boys who run the world said, hey, listen, I'm sorry, Joe Palooka, but you got to take a fall. You got to take a fall. You got to fall on your sword. I want you to look like a putz in the next go-around. So who did they drag out? They dragged out that fat slob from CNN, Candy Crowley, to ask set-up questions of Obama and to attack Romney. And Romney fell for it. Instead of attacking Obama, instead of going on the attack on Candy Crowley, he took the fall in 2 and 3. That was the end of the story. That's my opinion. So now here we come again. He comes back out of nowhere. He says he's going to run, maybe run. Now he says he's not going to run. He's going to let others in the party. Who are the others in the CPUSA? Used to be the Communist Party USA. To me, it's all one and the same now. Have you seen any difference in the Republican Party thus far and the Democrat Party? I mean, we went to the polls, and what did we put in? More of the same. Have you seen them put a stop to Obama's insanity? Have you seen them demand a hearing on Dianne Feinstein's business dealings for what she did to our intelligence community? Have you seen them do anything that is creative as part of their agenda? No, not at all. You've seen nothing. It's sad to watch this. He says he wants to give other leaders in the party the opportunity to run. What leaders are there? Jeb Bush is a leader? The man has been invisible for 10 years. No one knows what he does. What does Jeb Bush do? What are his qualifications? What is Jeb Bush, what are his qualifications? Tell me what they are. What, he has the name Bush, and that's something positive now? After years of contentiousness in America? Yes, by comparison to the commie that we have in the White House now, sure, Bush sounds good. But I doubt very much that he's going to close the borders, since he said he won't. So what's the difference? Tell me what the difference is. It's sad to wake up and see a good man like Romney thrown overboard, fed to the sharks by the Republican Bilderberg establishment, so they lose. It's that simple. They did it, so they lose. It's that simple. They're throwing the election in advance. Meanwhile, she'll come out of nowhere again like she was reinvented, like we know nothing about her. There's no Benghazi. There's no Cattlegate. There's no IRS gate. There's no Marcy Park. There's nothing. She has no background. She'll be reinvented. She'll be cleansed. And she'll be offered up as some salvation for America simply because she's not a man and doesn't wear pants. That's it. That's the reason to vote for her, because she's not a man. That's like the Attorney General nominee, Lynch. She's a great candidate because she's black and a woman. But what has she actually done? Everything nightmarish you could imagine while she was in New York. But, she's the greatest selection according to the Republican establishment. I've never seen anything like this. The same sellouts like Orrin Hatch, who gave us the worst Supreme Court justice in history, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who, by the way, should have been disqualified because she had been chief counsel for the anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-family, anti-American ACLU. They picked her, and he nominated her. He brought her in. He ushered her in.
I believe that one of our next generation of Republican leaders, one who may not be as well known as I am today, one who has not yet taken their message across the country, one who's just getting started, may well emerge as being better able to defeat the Democrat nominee. In fact, I expect and hope that to be the case.
That's why Romney dropped out, is that he doesn't want Bush to be the candidate. He was leading all of them. I don't think you know this. The media is such a lying institution that you wouldn't know that Romney topped the rest of the GOP field with 21% support among self-identified Republicans. Bush only ranked fourth with 10% support. So why would they force Romney out? Savage sees things you can't see. That's why I make the big bucks. That's why I have the national show. That's why I write best-selling books. I'm sorry. You want me to lay it on the line? I'm not an ordinary man. If I were an ordinary man, I'd have a hat on backwards waiting for a stupid football game with the rest of the drunks. I see things you can't see. I am Lincaeus, the pilot seer of the Argonauts. I am on the highest mast in the media. I can tell you what just happened. Those louts in the Republican Party threw him out because they didn't want him to win. And they don't want to win. And they're not going to win. They're in Hillary's camp because that's what Davos told them to do. Romney was forced out so Hillary will win the election. I stand by that statement. Can I ever prove it? No. Of course not. It's an opinion. It's an analysis. According to the latest Fox News poll, Romney led with 21% among self-identified Republicans. He's followed by Rand Paul and Governor Guitar Huckabee, the hick with the guitar, each at 11%. And then former Governor Jeb Bush at 10%. Then the single-digit tier appears. Retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson, 9%. Scott Walker, 8%. Rubio, 5%. Great. What a great choice that would be. Wait, it gets even worse. Christie, Cruz, Rick Perry, 4%. All others come in at 2% or less. So Romney was the top choice. And that's the end of it. They don't want him to win. They want her to win. It's that simple. Now, I'm not going to say again that you're going to make me famous. I had dinner with Romney a year before the last election in North Beach at a restaurant. That's before the same campaign louts who are now advising him, who have switched and jumped ship to Bush, told him never to meet with Michael Savage again. They thought I was a marginal player. Well, little did they know that I would thrive and he would fall. Notice I've risen and he's fallen, hasn't he? They were wrong, and they're wrong about everything. No, my audience is very significant, but Romney met with me, and one of the nicest men I ever had dinner with. Really fine man, fine family. However, when I asked him about illegal immigrants, he was pretty candid with me. He said, now that's a tough one. And he said, you know that I can't really say anything about it because we'll lose the Hispanic vote. I said, yeah, but they're not the majority of voters. What are you worried about illegal aliens for? Well, he went back to how's the veal, and I said the best veal in the city. So that was the end of that one. And there were a few other issues that he was not good on. But I would have slept better at night had a real American won the election. I really would have slept better at night had Romney won. Because I can guarantee you there'd be a real war on terror, not a war against insurgents.